For my final capstone discovery project, I did gender representation in European cathedrals. Traditional cathedrals, especially in Europe, are more often than not Catholic than Protestant, which means that they are in the larger scale, have cruciform structure, 3 aisles, pointed arches, and stained glass windows. One of the biggest defining structures in cathedrals was the cruciform structure, which meant that the aisles in the building were in the shape of a cross to have religious meaning. 3 aisles so more people could get to different parts of the chapel that were filled with different forms of art or even altars. Lastly, stained glass windows were a staple piece because it was a great way to tell Bible stories for the literate at this time and to also portray different types of art. The Matthias Cathedral was originally built in the Romanesque style in 1015, but then was later reconstructed in the late Gothic style during the second half of the 14th century. This cathedral is so significant because 2 kings of Hungary were crowned within this cathedral, Franz Joseph I and Charles IV of Hungary. Therefore, they have so many artifacts and paintings on display to portray those masculine features in the art as well as architecture. Because a lot of the artifacts relate to kings, they share principles of power, dominance, and especially social status. While there are a lot of masculine traits, this cathedral is also known for its brightly colored rooftop, which brings a little femininity to this very beautiful building. In the inside of the cathedral, it's red, it's gold, it has very gold, like all the artifacts, the painting, the walls, the steeple, everything is gold. So it looks very kingly and masculine, but it's very beautiful inside. But on the outside, it has really pretty tiling on the roof. It's red, orange, like light colors. It almost reminds me of a sunset, and it's very, very beautiful. St. Vitus is one of the largest and most important temples in Prague. It is so important because apart from religious services, the cathedral is a place of burial for several patrons, saints, sovereigns, noblemen, and archbishops. This cathedral was inspired by St. Vitus, who was a Christian martyr who became the patron saint of nervous disorders for casting an evil spirit out of the son of the emperor. On the inside as well as the outside, it is very dark with regards to light and frightening statues. Therefore, on the side of the cruciform structure, there are these large gold elegant altars that show the Virgin Mary as well as several other women saints. Prague was known for always having a rich history of women's empowerment, therefore putting such an emphasis on these women at the altars and even in the stained glass windows show how the Prague culture view and portray gender in the cathedral, especially the women gender. The construction for this cathedral started in 1614 and was finished in 1628. This building went through 3 extensive remodels, although the art is Baroque as more of a classic modern style when it comes to the architecture, which might be a result of the so many remodels. Throughout the Baroque period, women were portrayed as saints or sinners, like pictures of purity or a wicked temptress. In this cathedral, the majority of the art was painted on the ceiling, portraying saints and prophets in biblical narratives. Walking around the whole cathedral, I only saw men and women painted in the highest esteem, almost heightening their gender expressions so they appeared godly. Or like the classical style where it was heightening human features and making them look more godly. And here are some more pictures of the ceiling in the cathedral. Sainte-Chapelle was a royal chapel that was made in the Gothic style. Physically, this cathedral is best known for the stained glass windows that wrap around the walls of the cathedral. In these windows are multiple biblical episodes almost displayed like giant comic books in the Middle Ages. During the Dark Ages, it seems even in this chapel, images of women are often used to underscore the patriarchal nature of medieval society. Therefore, female bodies are a lot more eroticized than men are in this type of art, and that is why gender in this specific era is romanticized. Why is understanding gender so important? Because all of these cathedrals were from such different time periods as well as cultures, being able to recognize how they express gender through art is so important when trying to understand individuals as well as societies. As shown before, a lot of why femininity and masculinity is portrayed the way it is because of societal and especially cultural values at the time. For example, where in the Dark Ages, women were more feminine to help this idea of romanticism at the time because that is what society valued most. while in the Baroque period, there is more of this dramatic theme where individuals, especially women, are put in the spotlight to highlight their biblical accomplishments, just like Judas slaying Holofernes. Lastly, I think being able to experience different periods of art, especially in Europe, where it was inspired, helped my perspective when taking in new expressions of art.